Do you find yourself constantly wanting to fidget with your charts? It's a very common problem, and we just went over a scenario on Monday with one of our live members doing it in a pre-recorded market replay session, and we talked about that we would kind of come in here and solve some of those problems. So I'm going to show you guys that today. I'm going to go ahead and launch up NinjaTrader here, and we're going to go straight into some charts. I'm going to show you guys how you can fix that for yourself. Let's go. All right, so we launched up our NinjaTrader here. I've got my little helper here. Roman's helping us out here today. How you doing, Mr. Roman? Are you good? Are you gonna make a funny noise? Yeah. All right. So let's do this. So over here on the right-hand side, actually let's start with straight in the chart. Anytime you want to change anything on a chart, any property, right-click somewhere in the center of the chart, and then make sure you don't click on an actual item, an indicator, or the price. Right-click in an empty area and right-click, go to properties. Inside of properties, the first thing you want to look at is this right side margin. Now, let's come back real quick and show what usually ends up being the problem. So you guys saw us on Monday with one of our traders constantly fidgeting with the chart, moving it back and forth, this way and that way. And up here in the right, he was clicking the fix button. There was just so much fidgeting around with all of that. And sometimes, especially when the markets are moving up at a 45-degree angle, the price kind of comes up here, and so you're trying to enter into a trade, and now your targets are off of the chart somewhere. Totally understand that. I'm going to show you guys how to adjust some of that and make it so that you're not feeling like you need to fidget, but you need to kind of play it for yourself to set up how you like it, and you find out what works best for you. But I'm going to show you guys how to do that first, and then you can make adjustments accordingly. So on the right side right now, I've got 70 pixels. This is actually measured in pixels over here. It's called your right side margin right here at number 70. You see that right here? Number 70. Okay, so that is the right side margin set to 70 pixels. That means from the right side edge right here to where my price currently is, that measurement to right there is going to be 70 pixels across my screen. Okay, so let's increase it. Let's give us some more space over here on the right, because sometimes I've seen people playing with the tags and trying to move your stops and targets around. And if you feel like you're squeezed over here on the right and that you need some more space, let's bump this out. Let's set this to something drastic so you can see. Let's double it, 140, and click on apply. And you see how the price started moving over. Let's go something crazy. How about 250 here? Okay, now it's giving me all this space over here on the right, and some people like to see that. If you want to see SMLK lines, you can see this SMLK line coming into play over here if you like it like this to get that extra margin. Now what's going to be neat is you can actually bring this in if you wanted to. So I'm going to click OK. Now I can bring this over anytime that I want. Okay, as far as I want, I can bring it over. But when you press the fix it button, this is where things kind of help out right here. Whenever you're coming up here to press the fix it, I call it the fix it button. I don't know if this is the official name for it, but you see that F button right there. If I can bring my drawing tool back, which it's not going to let me for some reason. Okay, how about I click? There we go. So on that F button right there, you click on this, boom, and then all of a sudden everything kind of clicks back. So I'm going to click it right now. Watch what happens. I click it, boom. Now it resets it, right? So it doesn't matter how much you mess up the chart. If you click the fix it, boom, bumps everything back to where it was. And then you've got this little arrow button right here, same thing, to put everything back at the margins that you've just set. Okay, so let's do one more example with that. So if I'm coming back in here, let's set it back to something. Let's go to 100, give myself a little more space than the default 70 that I've got going there. So I've got some extra space over here on the right, and so no matter what I end up doing, if I move the chart over here to the right, I can always just press this button, and it's always going to set me, leaving that 100 pixels of space over here on the right, or I can add more or less. That is part one. So to right click the chart, that's going to give you the space between this location here to here. That is your right side margin, and that is done by right clicking on the chart in the center. Now I'm going to show you how to control this space up here, which actually might be even more important, is the space up above here and down toward the bottom, to show you how it keeps the price within that margin. Giving yourself some margin on the top of your chart and the bottom of your chart can also be helpful, so that things don't get off of your screen and you're not having to kind of fight with that when you're doing this in real time, not having to fidget. Again, staying away from fidgeting with your chart. Okay, so to do that, I'm actually going to now right click in this space. This is the key. I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time figuring this out here, and you're going to forget. Okay, so write this one down. You need to right click the actual price bar. I call this the price bar. I don't know if that's the official name for it with NinjaTrader. This is the price bar over here. That's your current price. Not to be confused with the main space of the chart, but over there on the right, actually click the prices over here on the right, and we'll show you what we can do here. Now, some other tips while we're here, you notice I can left click in this area and I can drag. See how I'm dragging down and things are getting squeezed in? I can drag back up and I can zoom in, I can zoom out, basically by dragging this price bar up and down. Some people don't know you can do that. If I want to, again, fix it, I press the fix button, and now it kind of sets myself back to its original margins. Let's go look at what those are. I'm going to right click in the price bar, go to properties. Now you're faced with some new margins over here, and you have the lower and the upper. Probably going to make a whole lot of sense to you, not rocket science here, but this is going to be percentage of the chart. How much of that chart do you want to leave margin? So 25 is on the low side down here at the bottom, and at the top we've got it set to 10. Let's see if we want to balance these out and set both of them to 25, which I think is a good place to be. I think default out of the box is actually somewhere around 30. So let me go to show you guys what 30 looks like right here. This is probably pretty good, and we'll keep all of our price away from that top there, and you'll always be able to. So if we, well, I don't want to switch this over right now. Let me disconnect. Well, no, I can't do that. Sorry, I got little guy here crawling all over me here this morning. It's a little early day here, but if you were to set this to 30%, you're going to give yourself some extra space. Let's show some drama. Let's go full dramatic. Let's go all the way to like 50%. So you'll see what this is doing to your charts. Yeah, you see how that is squeezing it all in there into the center. So 50% of the space from margin top to bottom. And again, you go to 100, it's going to completely disappear and literally flatten this whole thing out, which you don't want to do. But play around with this. Make sure that you are comfortable with your settings to change that top side margin and bottom size margin. Do it, play with it until you feel comfortable where you're not fidgeting around with the charts. We gave that example on Monday. If you guys missed out on that one, go back to the Monday video where we did that critique. It was Mentorship Monday. I believe it was number 19. But double check me on that. Today's date is June 11th, 2022. But go back to this Monday and you're going to see a really great setup there. It had a lot of great live session trades there. Lots of activity with that. One more thing here before we go is down here on the bottom, if you are noticing that the speedometer is taking up too much of your space, again, any of these window panels at the bottom, feel free to shrink these up. A lot of times our most important thing we need to see is price. So I can shrink up the speedometer here at the bottom, something super small, so that I can still see the number. I don't necessarily need to see the charting, the plotting of this indicator. And so I can give myself a little more space in here. And again, right now I can just feel this chart is messed up. I'm gonna fix this one for the last time here for myself. I like over here on the right to be at about 100 on the right to give myself some about 100 pixels over on the right. My top side and right side margins, remember I'm right clicking over here and I'm getting a new window right there. I don't know if I showed this earlier or not, but I'm gonna go to the properties of this one. There's less there, so that should indicate if you're clicking on the right one. And now I'm gonna change this. I like the 30-30, so I'm gonna go ahead and give myself some extra space, top side, bottom side. And that usually leaves me enough where I'm not having to mess around with this at all. When I'm entering in stops and targets on my plays, I usually don't have any issues with that. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. Have a happy Saturday. We'll talk soon.